on the other side of the podium is John Arcudi, the writer of the book. Next to him is Dave Stewart, the colorist on almost everything. And at the far end, Guy Davis, the artist. So we're mostly going to do Q&A. There's a mic up here. It's good to use the mic because then everybody else can hear your question too. So please plan on coming up to ask questions because we're not going to talk a lot up front. There's we mentioned that there's going to be an announcement at this panel, and I think we just dive right into the announcement. Is there anything else you want to say first?
Brace yourself.
How many people in here regularly read the B.P.R.D. or have followed it for a while? It's been an amazing book to work on. It's a great book to work on, and we're having a big change coming up, effective pretty much immediately. This Wednesday, I think, B.P.R.D. Hell on Earth. These titles are so long, so I keep track. God's #3 is coming out. Yeah. Yeah, God's #3 comes out on Wednesday, and that will be Guy's last issue of the regular series as the regular monthly artist on the book. I know, they're all going to cry. I'm crying as well. I've had a little while to get used to it. Yeah. Guy has another major project that he's not ready to announce yet. He'll announce that in his time, and it's going to take more than B.P.R.D. He's still going to be involved. He's still doing designs for the upcoming series. We're still working on the marquee to come out either later this year or next year. But yeah, it was really staggering the other day to get God's #3 and realize, oh, this is the end of this amazing run that we've been on for 8 years. And I just want to thank Guy for an incredible amount of fantastic work on the book.
I just want to thank these guys for being use of like the best job in the world. It was wonderful. So, did you hear that? But no, I mean it really was one of the best series, if not the best series that we had to work on from almost the start. So, but I'll still be hanging on to them as much as possible.
Anybody else up here want to add anything about this tragic turn of events?
It's going to turn into like a
eulogy.
yeah.
I'm not dying. That's not the entire. No, that's not the big project. Yeah.
So, it's ironic that we had this giveaway comic. How many people have gotten the giveaway book? For those of you who haven't seen it yet, there's this freebie comic that we did with Emerald City Comic Con where the gang over here destroys Seattle with a big Lovecraftian monster. And we decided to do this quite a while ago. It took a while to get it done, to make it happen. And there's like 10,000 copies that were given away for free at the show this weekend. And we had no idea when we did the book that we'd be giving it away at the show when we were announcing the guy was being there. But it worked out nice. It's a nice way to celebrate the end of a really huge thing for us all. And with that, I think we're ready to go to questions, unless you guys have anything you want to say about anything. Oh, yeah.
I think the first question would be, well, what the hell is going to garage?
Yeah. So, starting with Monsters #1, which comes out in July, the new artist on B.P.R.D. is going to be Tyler Crook. Tyler's probably a guy you may not have heard of yet. He's doing a graphic novel for Oni right now called Petrograph that comes out in the fall that looks amazing. It deals with a lot of cool Russian stuff, which has some interesting synergy with what we're doing. But Mike was the one who first brought Tyler into our attention, so why don't you say something about him?
Tyler showed me his work at an otherwise powerful convention a few months ago. And I loved his work right away. I called John when I got home and I said, look, this guy online and tell me what you think. And we were scrambling around for some project for this
Yeah, if you go by the Dark Horse booth where we're giving away the comic, we're giving away those Hellboy masks, and we're demonstrating the B.P.R.D app that we're going to be selling soon. On the iPad where we're demonstrating that, we're showing this first image from Tyler, and we'll be introducing Tyler to the public at WonderCon in a few weeks.
And I called up Tyler and I said, yeah, I'm sorry that the very first time we draw these characters, they have to make a promo poster out of it. You know, you'd like them to get a little bit more time to practice and get a handle on it. But he hit it out of the park, first time. So I'm thrilled. As sad as it is for Guy to go, I'm so jazzed to be working with this talented, a really exciting young guy. So, any questions?
Shortest panel ever.
All right, good thanks everybody.
Oh, there's gotta be some.
You never
How
get
many?
dropped it now.
Yes.
I am most impressed with your own artwork, and I'm curious why you don't draw more of the series yourself.
If you notice, I've been doing like 1,000 covers, and I've been writing 1,000 comics. I was not supposed to be gone from the art chores as long as I have been, but this thing kind of snowballed on me. So I've been trying to get my head above water enough, so I can get back to drawing. And I'm really close. Within the next month, I will be taking over drawing Hellboy. I mean, it won't be until next year. Duncan Fegredo is working on his last issue of a miniseries called Fury, sequel to last year's Storm.
Yep, you did right.
And that will end Duncan's run of the main Hellboy storyline, and then I will pick up after that. And Duncan will, continue to do stories about Hellboy that are set in the past.
Hi. I wanted to ask about this one element of Hellboy area. I always thought it was pretty cool to see him go out of place among all the Lovecraftian horrors and monsters and things and stuff. The aliens. We haven't really seen them for a while. I was wondering if they were coming back.
You never know when those things are going to pop up. And I can't say anything more about that. There's not a major development with those aliens, particular aliens. But you never know. There's always these kind of characters that kind of float around and you least expect it. You go, who goes there? That's where this guy comes back. But there's no giant thing coming.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You find folklore from a lot of different areas of the world for your stories.
Copyright free.
Which area of the world are you going to be looking at in the next couple of years? Which countries? Which cultures?
It's hard to say anything about Hellboy without giving away major changes that are happening next year in Hellboy. But Scott alluded to Russia, and Russia plays a big part in upcoming developments in B.P.R.D. And Russia's kind of skittered around some Russian stuff in B.P.R.D. The situation in B.P.R.D. is becoming a much more global situation as things continue to get worse and worse and worse. So we'll be touching on different countries, but yeah.
Sorry, a little short. Are there any more plans for any movies, whether they be animated or live action?
I'm so thrilled that this wasn't the first question. It usually is. There's nothing in the works right now. There's always talk, but nothing's in the works.
All right, thank you.
I was kind of curious as to, are you guys going to be doing any more Lobster Johnson? He has to be like one of the coolest characters in your. So my question is like twofold, like Lobster Johnson, are you guys going to be doing more Lobster Johnson? And what made you decide to use the mythos of Lobster Johnson? He's a pretty cool character.
Well, I never think Lobster Johnson is a superhero. I love old magazine heroes like Doc Savage and stuff like that. Everything I like, I want to create my version of it, or something to stand in for that in the Hellboy universe. So there are things to be said about forthcoming Lobster Johnson.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Have been for a while. The next Lobster Johnson series, we're working with an artist who's done a little bit of stuff in America, but he's somewhere in the former Yugoslavia. Anyway, his name is Tansi Zani. He's great. He's got a really nice. Every time we get pages, we think we really got to write that in the book. This stuff is perfect for the era, and does the research. You're really gonna like it. Right? What's it called? The Burning Hand. Burning Hand. And that's
Yeah, it starts early next year.
and then we got another one planned after that. So now that we got an artist for it.
One of my favorite characters.
Well,
Thank you so
and
much.
of course, the first Lobster Johnson miniseries we did took place very near the end of Lobster Johnson's career. So this one takes place at the beginning. So
The hope is we'll have.
starting with volume 2, we'll actually start doing it in order.
It's pretty sweet.
I have a two-part question. First question is there any symbolism behind the actual B.P.R.D logo?
That's a good question. The only, it's research and defense. So the pyramid is sort of your classic mysticism type symbol, the big mystery, and the hand with the sword is defense. So nothing smarter than that, I'm afraid.
The pyramid first. So the second question I had is, we've seen a strong core group of characters in B.P.R.D, and I was devastated, by the way, when Roger died.
As you should be.
So well done on that. But are we going to see any new members coming out? I know we have one either already that's very close to Liz in a sense, like the new girl, right? Like similar just in character, I guess.
Actually, she's not really. I mean, I think some people assume that for some reason. I'm not sure why, but she's going to be. We're sort of. We introduced her in again. What is it? Gods. Okay. We introduced her in Gods, and it's going to be a slow introduction actually into the organization. But the expansion of the team is going to have more to do with lower end members like Devin, but new members like Jericho and
Lynch.
The character we introduced more for us, Ashley, she's going to have a larger role. So these the human and supernatural B.P.R.D agents are going to play a larger role in the bigger story. So while Phoenix is new, these characters aren't new. We've introduced them already, but they'll play a larger role and it'll expand B.P.R.D's human presence in a larger crisis.
It was never my intention or John's intention to make this the Avengers. I didn't want to be tripping over a new superpowered guy every couple of weeks. And John, is one of the best writers I know for writing real people. So I like the idea of a book that's about real people, mostly about real people up against these giant supernatural things.
Thank you. And keep up the awesome work on the entire Hellboy and B.P.R.D series.
That is alright.
I did want to say thanks for what you was alluding to, is that you have created a really rapidly expansive world of stories that do interlink and trip through different decades of time and stuff. And it is a real thrill each week to see what comes out as a reader. And it's, from the new origin story of Witchfinder that just hit this week, a little bit into something that I would like to hear about the origin of Baltimore, about how because that's a pretty grim character. And I just want to see where that would come from as you're writing a
And Baltimore has again nothing to do with the whole Hellboy B.P.R.D world. So it's you know, that's a separate thing. I just like that era, and I like those kind of grim, supernatural, occult detective-y kind of characters. But as far as the overall Hellboy B.P.R.D. thing, what's been exciting is it hasn't been our intention to say we need more books. It's just these stories start. I don't know, you're laughing.
No, John's just.
The goal isn't to add market share, but we do have stories that kind of snowball, and you know, we're not only showing what's happening over the whole world, but we're showing the entire history of this world. So things just keep popping up, like Witchfinder. I mean, I wanted a Victorian occult detective. Okay, fine, we'll do a Victorian occult detective. John wanted to do a Western, and I thought, oh, we don't have a Western character. Well, how do we do a Western that we tie into the B.P.R.D. world? Well, let's take that Victorian occult detective, put him in the Old West, and then what happens is you put him in the Old West, and then you go, oh, look, now we've got this new Western character. So he wants his own book. All these characters want their own book. You know, there's only one and a half writers to do it.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How do you get the half?
I get the half because I'm trying to be an artist too.
So my question is actually bringing us back to Hellboy in Russia. It's kind of a specific question. I'm wondering if that means we're going to see more of the Baba Yaga and sort of that ongoing relationship.
You will see Baba Yaga again in The Fury.
Okay. Thank you.
She's one of my favorite characters.
She is my favorite character.
Oh.
Thank you.
So let me preface this by saying that The Third Wish and The Islanders, along with the Corpse, are really my favorite stories by you. And one of the things that I really appreciated about The Third Wish was the way that you incorporated Africa with a level of mystery and respect. Because I remember reading in an interview that you couldn't really find any stories that you wanted to tell directly with Hellboy, and yet at the same time you really spoke to this relationship with the rest of the world. I was curious whether or not that kind of relationship would be coming up at any point involving Australia and Dreamtime and Aboriginal relationships.
Sadly, it's just something I don't know enough about, and I haven't had the time to do the research. I mean, my goal, you know, with Hellboy, the folklore stuff, the beauty is Hellboy's been wandering around the world for 50 years, and my feeling is he's been every place. So it's just a matter of finding the right story, or an artist who's dying to do Australia. You know, it's just finding the right guy and coming up with the right project. But you know, someday I would love to have put Hellboy in every major land mass. Someday, maybe.
Thank you.
It's really cool to have the whole team here on one.
Isn't it? I don't think we've ever had.
Because that's the case, I thought it'd be interesting to hear from each member speaking about the process of how you guys put the books together, how you guys interact, whether you're ever together physically, do you do it on conference calls, how much back and forth is
We just started doing conference.
We did our first ever conference call, I think the day after Guy pulled.
Yeah, we did a really good reason. Everybody
That's what it is. I wasn't invited to that conference call.
Yeah,
First time
you didn't want to be on that call. And the process, usually it's me saying to Scott, hey, I've got an idea for another book. Scott goes, we don't need any more books. It's pretty organic.